Morning to everyone, and thank you for joining these sessions. The last but not the least sessions of the 5th Summit on Community Network in Africa that is held online because of COVID-19 pandemics. So my name is Jean-Louis Fendji. I'm a lecturer at the University of Ngaoundere in Cameroon, and I'm also the research director on digital innovation and internet rights at AfroLeadership. So before diving into the matter this morning, let us thank the organizer who made this session possible. And first of all, I would like to thank ISOC and APC for all their efforts to make this session possible, and also the World Series for the 5th Summit on Community Network in Africa. We also thank the African Union Commission for its patronage, and we will not end this round without thanking GIZ for the sponsor of this event. So, and presently I'm in one of our community network in the northern Cameroon, in the northern parts of our country. And today I'm not alone. I'm with the regional manager of one of GIZ project who is helping us building a community network in Cameroon. So Emile Lando, good morning. Maybe before continue these sessions, can you say just a word before continue this session?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jean-Louis. Thank you for the floor. So, okay, we are happy to have this partnership with you, with ISO and with Internet Society and APC. And okay, last year or years ago, we used to travel to attend the event abroad. But this year, we are happy to attend the event from one of our community network in Cameroon, as a build with the support of the municipal development project of GIZ in Cameroon. So, like just to encourage the movement and to say it is possible to connect the unconnected. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Emile, for this kind words. Yes, it is possible to connect the unconnected. And so also, before going deeper, let us remind some housekeeping rules that will guide us during the sessions. So the webinar is being recorded, and it will be made available afterwards. So don't worry about the recording. And also please engage respectfully and responsibly when discussing or when using social media. So, and also when asking question or speaking, please keep it short, straight to the point and simple. And to get familiar with the Internet Society Code of Conduct, we invite us to click on the following link. So, and how to engage now. So we have 2 hashtags this morning as usual, community networks and Swedish on. So you can use it on your Twitter pages just to give an echo to the event. So also we have the interpretations. So 2 languages are supported, so English and French. And for the interpretation, you can directly use at the bottom the button interpretation and choose the language. So, and also we have the chat room. So you can use it to engage with the attendees, and also you can raise your hands if you would like to speak, but make sure at the end that you also click again on the button to deactivate it. And the chat room will also be used. The chat room will also be used for Q&A sessions. So you can post your questions in the chat room, and you will have an answer. So the agenda today is around 5 points. So after the welcome and the opening, we will have a virtual tour inside 2 community networks. So mainly BOSCO Uganda and La Différence PamojaNET. So after that, we have the closing remarks and the next step by Mushiki. So the objective of the webinar is mainly to take a deep dive into the day-to-day of 2 main community networks in Africa. So BOSCO Uganda, located in the northern Uganda, and PamojaNET in the eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. So we will have 3 videos showcasing the technical operation of those community network, their business model, and also the governance structure that those community networks are using. So, and so to have this visit to the first community network is BOSCO Uganda, and for that, I would like to invite Daniel Komakec. So Daniel Komakec is one of BOSCO Uganda longest serving staff members, having first joined in 2011 as an ICT field coordinator. So Dan's longevity at BOSCO Uganda is fueled by a passion for community network, and his role as project coordinator revolved around concept note writing, community ICT training, solar installation, computer repairs and maintenance, research and field studies, coordination of project activities to ensure timely completions. So Daniel Komakec is graduated with a bachelor degree in information technology from Barara University of Science and Technology 2012. And also pursue a postgraduate diploma in project planning and management from Gulu University in 2015. So Daniel is enhanced with his skills and work at BOSCO Uganda through short online courses offered by Internet Society or Building Wireless Community Network in 2018, and an introduction to network operations. So Daniel loves outdoor activities like freebies, volleyball, and football. So please let us listen to Daniel, who will drive us now to Uganda to give us insight of their technical operation, business model, and governance structure. But before handing over to Daniel, just to remind you that you can write your question in the chat room as the virtual visit is progressing. Daniel, you have the floor, please.
Thank you so much, Jean-Louis, and thank you everyone who is on this webinar. I would like to thank so much ISOC and the other organizers of the event. With me here, I have a team of staff from BOSCO Uganda who are on the call. I have the Executive Director, Jennifer Okosia, who will in a short while give you a brief history of BOSCO Uganda before we get into the videos. I also have with me here Immaculate. I have Okot Solomon Nono. I also have Moses Ochan. I have Sister Florence Agnes Lagwa. I also have Ivan Rajkara. And then finally, I have Paul Mike Anywa. So I would like to, before we get into the videos, I would like to invite our Executive Director, Jennifer Okosia, to give you a brief highlight and background of BOSCO Uganda before we can dive to the videos. Thank you. Jennifer, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and the rest of the team in BOSCO Uganda. We're extremely thankful to ISOC and APC who have organized this event. And I'm particularly appreciative to my staff, BOSCO Uganda team, that has worked very hard to make sure that they make a contribution towards this summit. Thank you so much. Briefly, I would like to say that I am the Executive Director of BOSCO Uganda. I have a master's degree in development studies and also attained a postgraduate degree in business administration. My bachelor's degree was also in development studies from Makerere University. I have joined BOSCO Uganda since last year in February 2020, and we have been working very closely in partnership with ISOC and APC and other members of the network, and we're very grateful for this. BOSCO Uganda is a private, not-for-profit, faith-based organization belonging to the trusteeship of Gulu Archdiocese, that's the Catholic Church of Gulu Archdiocese. It was established in 2007. Just at the end of the war, there was a Lord Resistance Army, a rebel group that was fighting the government of Uganda in northern Uganda that enslaved and caused havoc in the region for over 20 years, killing thousands of people, displacing thousands and thousands of the people in northern region. The war affected largely the northern part of Uganda until the northern part is the Acholi sub-region, Lango sub-region, and also West Nile. Organization BOSCO Uganda started with as a collaboration between friends in the United States of America and friends from Gulu, who thought of a solution of getting out the voice of the people in this region to the entire world. Because at that point, the communities were quite isolated, and there was this collaboration aimed at ending the isolation of the communities through ICT. And so we started with about 6 ICT centers. Currently, BOSCO Uganda has about 55 ICT and development centers in the entire northern region of Uganda. We are a rural-based community network organization. I would say the only rural community-based network organization in Uganda. And our target group are mainly the rural communities in northern Uganda, and also specifically, we've also been targeting those from South Sudan. We reach people who do not know ICT, who have never had internet connectivity. We are reaching to people who don't have access to electricity, who don't have the national grid power system. And BOSCO Uganda comes in with our ICT services, not only in terms of giving skills, basic skills in computer, but also internet connectivity so that the communities are able to reach out to each other across the camps, across the region, but also reaching out to the entire world. And so ending the isolation, the digital isolation of the rural folks in this northern region. We believe very strongly that in this pandemic period of COVID-19, more than ever, ICT services are quite relevant to the elderly, to the youth, to the children, to women and men inclusive. And so as BOSCO Uganda, we are striving to ensure that ICT makes a big difference in the lives of everyone. As we know, it's a human right now to have internet, to have access to information. And so what we do is that we are, as a must, ensuring that we do give trainings in basic skills in computer application. And for instance, ICT must make sense to education, to anyone, whether a student or a teacher. We're looking at issues around enhancing our e-content so that teachers and students, especially in this rural region of northern Uganda, that has not, how do I say, is behind in many statistics on the development indicators, that the rural folks, the rural schools have e-content and so on and so forth. So we want to make sure that our ICT makes a difference in education to the students who are in the boarding schools, students who are in the secondary schools, those who do not have good education and teaching, those who don't have good electronic libraries. We are trying to make that we have e-content available, whether through text, through video, through audiovisual materials, and so on and so forth, so that students can self-learn, teachers can self-learn, and that the quality of education is changed. But at the same time, we're revolutionizing education so that teachers also changing their teaching aid, and they're able to use, for instance, video for, as a learning aid and getting into a discussion. So we are contributing towards that area. Our belief also is to make sure that ICT is relevant also for the agriculture folks. As you know, the majority of the people in Uganda live and find their livelihood from sustainable agriculture. And so to the farmers, how can ICT make a difference? We also are using this to empower communities to be able to use our ICT for information access, to market their products, but also business communities to be able to, create businesses, create links, WhatsApp groups, and so on and so forth. So we basically want to make sure that our ICT more than ever is relevant to a health worker, is relevant to an agriculturist, is relevant to education, to a student, it's relevant to workers, because BOSCO Uganda also offers internet connectivity to NGOs, to Muslim communities, to government offices, and so on and so forth, so that they are able to, we aid their work and their communication with their different key stakeholders. And this is in summary what we are doing as BOSCO Uganda. And we are very happy to be a member of the community network, greatly supported by ISOC, the team in ISOC, in Africa team, the APC team that are really supporting us, building up our institution, our governance structures, through the funding that we're getting. So as an institution, we're strengthening ourselves so that we are more relevant in this period to meet not only the needs of our key beneficiaries, what I call partners in development, but also to be accountable to them, but also to our donors in ways that are transparent, in ways that actually show our credibility in everything that we do. So thank you very much for this opportunity. And I would like to back to Daniel, who is the team leader on this platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. At this moment, I wouldn't want to take so much time. I would like to introduce you to our first category of the video. And the first category of our video is under technologies. And under this, you will shortly see how BOSCO Uganda converts internet from the fiber optics to the wireless technology, and then how we power all the equipments at the different points, and then how we distribute the wireless technologies. You will also shortly see in the video the advantages of this kind of technology. And then finally, you will also see the challenges that we meet while we implement this kind of technology within or when we are building our community network. So at this point, I would like to request the technical team to take us to the first video. Thank you.
BOSCO Uganda uses point-to-point technology to connect our communities. This point-to-point uses equipment basically from Ubiquity, UBNT equipment like the power beams, the nano stations, and the rockets, including the Bullet M2s and Bullet HP for long distances. We have also the equipment that we use, switches, and the best switch that we have ever used is the MicroTich switch. So this is our router, or the switch, the main switch that works as the gateway. This switch receives the data, okay, from this yellow cable. This yellow cable is coming from the internet service provider switch. This is the fiber cable coming out from the manhole outside. And then from our gateway, we have another PoE switch that connects the rocket M2 or the rocket M5 that transmits to the tower at Radio Maria. Yeah, we have just been at the gateway, so we have looked at how that dish or the rocket transmits data through point-to-point onto this tower. Now this is what I've been calling Radio Maria Tower, and it is the one receiving from the gateway side to here. So this is like the main connection point for all our connections in BOSCO Uganda. You can see when we receive the signals from the other dish, it drops it to this switch. And once dropped onto this switch, we can now distribute to other radios onto the network, one transmitting to Okot, one transmitting to head office, where there is the network operation center, and then one to the nearby ICT center, which is Badega ICT center. You can see from this that all this system is powered by solar power. You can see we have here two batteries. These are 200 AH running in a 24 series. So the same switch powers all those radios that we see on the tower. About 7 radios that are connected to this one, which is gateway connecting to Raro, and then the 6 connecting to different connections, different towers from here. I'll travel from Gulu to reach out to this tower owned by partners, about 4 towers that the partners have helped us to reach out to this side. And then BOSCO Uganda owns about 9 towers. So this totals to 13 towers that we use to reach out for transmissions and network connectivity in the rural communities like this.
So this is our second distribution point. From the tower in town we saw at an earlier point, it brings signals to this tower and then distributes to 4 other locations. One is about 90 kilometers, one is about 60, one is 40, 10 and 5 kilometers. So at this tower we have solar panel of 400 watts, and then we have solar batteries of 200 AH connected in parallel, giving us a 12 volts. And then this is the power that is used to power these radios up, and then these 2 switches.
One of the main challenges that affects us during installation and deployment of some of the systems like this is the weather. Very hot weather, sometimes rain can find you or can get you up here. But also the roads, as you have seen. It's a challenge to get up to this hill. Without a 4-wheel drive vehicle, you cannot actually climb up to here.
The equipment that we are using are very resilient, and that makes our work easy. We don't need to be on monitoring visits each and every time.
Thank you so much, the technical team, for playing our first category of the video. At this point, would also like to again introduce you to our second category of the video. In this second category of the video, it's called business and sustainability model. So you will look out and see how BOSCO Uganda, as a community network, sustains itself. And basically in this, you will see how BOSCO Uganda generates part of the fund that supports running of the community network. You will also see how the finances are managed from this sustainability model. And the sustainability model that we would like to showcase to you basically is solar power. And you will also see how BOSCO Uganda, as a community network, powers its entire network and the community setup. So basically, this is what our second video will showcase to you. Once again, would like to request our technical team to bring on board the second category of the video. Thank you.
Hi, I'm at one of the community centers owned by BOSCO Uganda. This center is a computer center that accommodates about 100 people per day. This center is purely powered by solar energy, which BOSCO Uganda, since its foundation, has adopted as a means of powering its different operations and equipment. The approach and model to a more clean and sustainable energy is solar energy for BOSCO Uganda. So in our operations, we tend to include design for the environment, where we look at the aspects of sustainability and also renewable form of energy. So basically this center is a 2.2 kilowatt solar energy plant. We have various activities that go on here. We do printing, IT training. We provide internet services to different clients or users that come here. It is completely independent from the grid. Before we install this system, we used to spend about 200,000 Ugandan shillings a month, but that has gradually reduced. We believe in the near future, the cost of solar equipment will gradually go down, and then you'll have it more cheaply. In a bid to improve on education in the communities and make it accessible to everyone, we also continue to support educational institutes by giving them these solar mini grids that are totally off grid. This plant here in particular is about 30 kilowatts.
What is interesting about this project is that to open up a joint bank account that is managed by BOSCO Uganda and the management of the school, that is signed by the BOSCO Uganda Executive Director and the director of the school. In this joint account, what happens is that the money that is saved from previously, what they would have paid to the national grid, the money is then saved into this account. And the money cannot be withdrawn by a single person. Say, it can't be withdrawn by BOSCO Uganda's executive director without the signature of the director of POPOL. That means there has to be a mutual understanding. But the MOU again explicitly describes how this money will be used. One of the things that we have guaranteed in this MOU is to ensure that the funds that are saved on a monthly basis, about $900 that is saved on a monthly basis, is meant to support the school, to replace equipment, to meet any other energy needs that the school has, to replace the batteries when the life of the batteries has expired. It is a very interesting concept. The funds that are saved there also is used to meet the salary costs of the staff in BOSCO Uganda, and also the staff that is the technical staff that is overseeing the equipments, the solar system and the computer lab in the school. In this saved fund, BOSCO Uganda, for instance, has 1/3 of that fund is meant for BOSCO Uganda, which would enable BOSCO Uganda meet any other energy projects that they want to start up elsewhere, but also to meet some of our technical backstopping costs that we incur when we're conducting this mission with the POPOL. So these are the two aspects that are making BOSCO Uganda sustainable as an institution, but also that of POPOL, who is our, I would say, our client, who is our partner in this whole CE3 project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, the technical team, and thank you so much to the organizers of this event. I believe we are picking various learnings from the different videos that we are bringing to you. I would like to now usher you into our final category of the video. In this final category of the video, it is called the community governance and honor. So in this video, what you should look out for is the governance structure, starting right from BOSCO Uganda, and then also how we identify the different community groups that form members of the network. And then you should also look out to see the kind of capacity development that we give out to these community members who are part of the network. And then finally, you will also see how the community members run the day-to-day operation of these community centers. So basically, that's going to be our final category of the video. We appreciate so much all the different questions that are coming up. We shall answer them at the right moment. At this juncture, again, I would like to welcome the technical team to play our last video. Thank you.
BOSCO Uganda is a faith-based organization registered under the trusteeship of Gulu Archdiocese, and it is governed by a board of directors that is appointed by the trusteeship of Gulu Archdiocese. And the role of the board is to work very closely with the management. The board appoints the management of BOSCO Uganda, and the board's role mainly is to make up policies and give directions, and the management implements the policy. So both the board and the management work very closely together in ensuring that there is good governance, there are structures, there are policies, there are systems in place that enable us to be credible, that enables us to ensure value for money, that enables the organization to reach and meet the mission of the organization. Now the board does meet on a quarterly basis, and the board meets with the management, where the management gives accountability on what they are doing on a quarterly basis. The board approves budgets that are presented by the management. And so the board also participates very closely in the monitoring of the projects on the ground. So the executive director and the board do spot visits, and they can visit the interventions in the field and give feedback to the staff on how they are seeing the interventions, how they are seeing the projects and the impacts of the projects on the ground. So this is briefly about how the management and the governance body function.
As BOSCO Uganda, to find a partner that we work with, normally we carry out what we call an assessment. We have developed an assessment tool through which we assess the groups that we partner with. But more so, we also get recommendations from the local leadership in the area where we would like to expand our services. And some of these local leaders are the local government leaders. We also have religious leaders. We have sometimes head of schools. And these are the people who recommend to us the right group that we work with. Secondly, we do orientation and then signing of the MOUs. So this creates the ownership of the community center. And then as BOSCO, once we do the capacity development for the community groups, the kind of community capacity development we give is that we train, especially with special focus to the leadership and leadership of the groups. We train them what we call leadership and management. And then in this leadership, we look at things like gender, we look at things like human rights, leadership itself, governance, planning, budgeting, and bookkeeping, so that we prepare the leadership to handle the daily affairs of the center. This leadership is elected democratically by the communities. They do monthly reporting to BOSCO Uganda. They also ensure gender balance at all the activities of the center. More so, they also do advocacy. And in this, they design advocacy strategies. They come up with media messages that handles or tackles the vices in their community. And then they share it. And in this, they bring the leaders where they post to them the challenges that the groups or the community is facing in general. And then together with the leadership, they come up with solutions. And these solutions are implemented and followed up by the leadership of the communities. In addition to that, they also do equipment replacement. As BOSCO Uganda, our capacity is limited, and we can only support the community up to a particular level. And then they have to carry on the management and then replacement of the spare parts in case it breaks down, because BOSCO gets this funding from our donors, and then the resources ends there. We have supported the groups to a level that they can sustain themselves. When we are starting the center at building their capacity, we support them with startup grants, and this comes in terms of money. So normally in the assessment, they identify viable income generating activities based on their locality. So once they identify this, the groups start their viable income generating activities, and these income generating activities could be produce, buying and selling as the most needed services or products that are required in those communities. And some of the things they do is what we call village savings and loan association. So they start this, and then they put a particular percentage that should cater for the sustainability and replacement of spare parts. So this is how they manage their center. Thank you so much, the technical team. Thank you once more, the organizers of this event. We have come to the final version of our videos in the 3 categories above that I mentioned earlier. And we shall be open to questions and answers at the right moment. Thank you so much again. I would like to hand over back to Jean-Louis. Jean-Louis, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, BOSCO. Thank you very much, Jennifer, Daniel, and all the staff. It was very impressive what we have seen concerning your activity in BOSCO Uganda, mainly how you went off the grid using solar panels. So we will take some questions from the chat. And the first question is from Joanna Likita. So the question is as follows. May I know the type and model of solar panel and battery you are using in BOSCO, Uganda? Please, your mic, Daniel.
Thank you so much, Jean-Louis. Okay. Thank you, the person who asked the question. The model of solar that we use is polycrystalline, and then the battery that we'll use is lead acid batteries. But the manufacturers of these batteries and the solar panels varies accordingly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Daniel. We have another questions from Avis from Cameroon. So his concern is how does promoters manage with ICT regulator authorities and at what stage of the process? So it is mainly concerning the regulations. How did you manage concerning the regulation in your country and the network?
Yes, I'll answer that. Thank you, Jean-Louis. With the regulators, we are registered with the Uganda Communication Commission as a local service provider. And of recent, in 2020, there's a new framework that due to the promotion of community network, it has been provided for community-owned network to operate in Uganda. And since the beginning of BOSCO Uganda, we were operating without having a clear framework, but it has been included, although we were registered with UCC as a local service provider. And now we are fully covered under the new license. Thank you.
Yes, Solomon, maybe to reframe the questions, I think it is, we would like to know when you have started the process concerning the registration of your network. When did you start the process? Is it at the earliest stage of the project, or later after starting operating and things like that, or it was earlier, just before the beginning?
Yeah, we registered at the early stage when the projects were starting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jean-Louis, can I add something to the answer Solomon provided?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. BOSCO Uganda, the incubation of the idea started right in 2006, but it got registered on the 19th of March, 2007. That was when we got our operation license from the Uganda Communication Commission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. We will move to the next question. And this question is from Owal Alassane Tata. So, and are there telco services in the locality where you provide your services? If there are, what, in your opinion, are the reasons people prefer your services over the telcos?
Thank you, Jean-Louis. I'll also answer that. We have a telecom service provider, especially in the urban area, but in hard-to-reach area where our network extends, we have mostly telecom companies with only voice service, but no data service. But also the network is still very poor, although they offer voice services, but in most places, their network is unreachable. That is how we beat them. And secondly, on our network, we offer other services that they don't offer. For example, we offer intranet. Intranet, even though there's no internet, still on our backbone, people are able to access the different content, including education materials, agriculture, and also in the intranet, there's also a platform for local chat between the communities, which they are able to chat among themselves and communicate and get whatever information they want to get. And also, most of service providers fear to invest in areas where people are very poor, and secondly, areas where people are few because of return of investment. So you find that they don't offer services in those remote areas, but BOSCO is able to offer services in those areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean-Louis. I would like to add one more thing onto the answers that Solomon provided. One of the things that, in Uganda, the government introduced what they called over-the-top tax, which is in short called the OTT. So to use the telecom data, you have to buy internet bundles first, and then you pay tax so that you can be able to access social medias. And this is what we know the youth love so much. But with the network that BOSCO provides, you do not need to pay the tax in order to use that. So I think this is one other advantage that we have over the telecom networks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So the added value of your network is that you provide also local content that can be freely available for the local populations.
Yes, that's true.
Okay. We will move to the following questions. It is more or less related to the first one, and it is from Ntyo. We would like to know if when setting up the different network, did you encounter any licensing problems?
Thank you, John Louis. We have not experienced any license problem because most of all the equipment that we use are license free. We use equipment in the frequency of 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8, which are freelancers in Uganda. We are not using any license equipment at the moment. Thank you.
So thank you, Solomon. And the next question is from Rod Griwan, and he would like to know if the management volunteers are, if the management volunteers or if it is a paid staff.
Thank you, Jean-Louis. I would like to answer that. What we do with the community groups is that they volunteer without any pay. The reason is that we started the network, but also depended so much on the donor fundings, which is not very reliable. Normally, it doesn't have a lot of, the resources are limited. In short, the resources are limited, and it is not sustainable. So what we do with the communities is that they volunteer, and then over a given period of time, we train what we call trainer of trainees, or in short, people call it TOTs. So we train these people who train others. And then after they have trained others, they identify or they mentor trainers from the new lots. Once the new lots are ready, they will take on training. And the earlier trainers stay backstage while they support remotely. So this is how we have been working with the at the different groups. But also it's quite challenging because once they get the skills, definitely they would like to get employment somewhere else. And so that leaves a limited number of trainers at the community centers. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. And I think it is the same situations in maybe all the other regions. When people acquire skills, they would like to find a better place to work. So the next questions is from Kasi Amesino, and he would like to know if it is possible to have all the equipment and their characteristics, the equipment you are using and their characteristics. So I think maybe you can just provide a list later.
Yeah, we can provide a list later, but most of the equipment that we are using are ubiquity equipment and Microtech, plus some HP and Cisco switches. But I'll be able to provide some of those equipment that we are using, the list to him. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Solomon. So, and the next question is from Alan Magizi, and he would like to know if the local governments, what the local government is doing to support the implementation model.
Thank you so much, Jean-Louis. We have faced quite a number of challenges, especially in that. But we also would like to be very grateful for their support because in the first place, while we identify the community groups to work with, they help and support BOSCO to recommend the right groups to work with. Our target group is mainly the youth, and they normally would recommend to us groups that are functional, because we also do not like to work with groups who have just come up because there is a project available or there is something available. So the local government recommends to us the different groups. And then secondly, we signed a tripartite MOU that the local government part of it, and they have a role to play. They have normally supported us in doing monitoring and evaluation, and then they also recommend other development agents who are coming to the areas where BOSCO could be working, but with another service. So they help to recommend. And but in terms of finances, they do not really have that budget line that directly benefits the community groups that we work with. So this is how we have always worked with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. We will take two more questions. So the next question is from Cyrus Bitao. I would like to know if you have already considered getting your own asynchronous ASN. I think it is autonomous system number from AfroLeadership. So especially for IP resources, if you have already considered getting your autonomous system number and IP resources from AfroLeadership.
We have not yet got that from AfroLeadership, but that would be a good thing to look at. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. Since we are only after the time, I will take two last questions. So the following is from Abubakar Abdul, and he would like to know how you can get the funding to carry out this kind of project. So how did you get the funding to carry out this kind of project?
Thank you so much, Jean-Louis. As Jennifer mentioned earlier in the early introduction of BOSCO Uganda, the idea was funded by friends from United States, but also we have written a number of projects, proposals that we are still doing even up to date. We normally write project proposals and send to different donors or funders. And then we also look out there for grants. Whenever grants are available, we are happy that we have worked with a number of funders, including APC, Internet Society, AfroLeadership, UNICEF, Horizon 3000, and so many others. So this is the engine behind the community network. Until now, they supported right from the inception and up to date. So many of them are still supporting us. We are grateful for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Solomon. So, and one last question. So from Ivan Kibirich. So how much do you pay when it comes to UCC license?
Pardon?
How much do you pay when it comes to UCC license? Maybe for a clarifications or explanation. I think it is the cross communication between network. I don't have the clear explanation from in the list, but I think it is something like that. Okay, yes. Okay, UCC is the regulator. Yes, it's clear now.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jean-Louis. As Solomon answered before, we are operating under the unlicensed spectrum, and we did not pay anything for that, and we haven't yet met any cost to UCC. That is how we have been operating. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Solomon. So we are running, and we would like to thank BOSCO Uganda for this nice visit to Uganda, and also for the answer they provide to the different questions. So, and I would like to introduce the pools, because we have 3 pools in that sessions. And the first is about the device you are using. So I would like to invite Joanna to launch the pool, so that the attendees can fill the form and submit it. So we just have 2 minutes for the polls. So let us fill it and send and submit the form. Okay, just 1 minute remains for the poll. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this first poll. So from the results, we have around 20% who is attending these sessions using their smartphone, and yes, 74% using their laptop, or yes, their laptop, and only 6% using their desktop to attend the sessions. So it is possible. It is possible also to attend it with their smartphone. So thank you for filling the form, and I would like again to thank BOSCO for the visit to Uganda. So at least we have now a clear view of what they are doing there, and I hope it is an inspiration for other network or people who like also to develop their community network. So, and now allow me please to switch to French, as we are welcoming the team from PamojaNET. Donc,
so the second part will be focused on the PamojaNET network. It's on the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and will be taken there by Chako Armant and Alva, who are both from PamojaNET La Différence. Chako Armant is lead project in this project. She supervises the quality of projects within the organization. Chako doesn't just lead research and human-centered design within La Différence. She also works in helping local partners or entrepreneurs to ensure that businesses meet the needs on the ground. It includes training staff to lead field research using mobile technology, as well as designing research processes that meet local needs and language requirements. Having a background in journalism, Chako leads communication activities for La Différence. She designs and produces the organization's bimensual radio series for entrepreneurs in Kivu. It's entitled C'est possible, which means it is possible. And Chako is really passionate about the work that young entrepreneurs do. She's very interested in new technology and IT, and she is currently a peer in an APC project. Chako is going to present the technology, the governance structure, and then before I pass the floor to Chako, I would like to remind you that you can use the chat room to ask your questions. And Chako, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure for me yet again to share our experiences about our community network, PamojaNET. I'll make a brief introduction. In many African countries, as in the Democratic Republic of Congo and in the region of Kivu, the access to internet remains a luxury for many people, and it is the case for the Ijwi Island. There are more than 3,000 inhabitants, a lack of infrastructure and funding, which means that young people are leaving. And the La Différence project was set up when a local chief recognized the importance of these services. And so the local population was called upon to join with PamojaNET and start this network. And there are a number of challenges: equipment, access, topography, safety of equipment as well, among others. So it's one of the first public networks in the north, but in the west Nile also. We are going to give you a virtual tour of PamojaNET and show you how PamojaNET operates in spite of the difficulties. The first one is focusing on technology. I'm going to give the floor to Alva-Ntyo Mihigo, who is in charge of the technology aspects and will talk about connecting the unconnected. Hello. I have a degree in telecommunication engineering, and I'm specialized in wireless technology. We're going to look at the technology we use within PamojaNET. It's a point-to-point network which can link up the town of Bukavu and Ijwi Island. It is an island which is surrounded by the Kivu Lake, and as has been seen by others, telecommunications needs, the establishment of networks needed a lot of investment. So there was no investment. It was what was required was too high, and this gives stimulus in a sense to the development of PamojaNET from the root level, from the local population. And in this first video document, you will see what technology we use in order to link up with Bukavu, which is at 63 kilometers of the island, and with Kivu Lake in the middle. So it's a major, it was a major challenge to overcome. If you would like to launch the video, please. So here we are in Muganzo, the highest point on the island. From here, we're able to see the city of Bukavu in the south and Goma in the north. Let me explain the technology we have here in Muganzo. First, we built the mast, starting with the structure transported over from Bukavu to Muganzo here. Thanks to the community's help, we were able to gather all necessary building materials and put together our pylon in stages. Here above, we have air fiber technology, ubiquity technology, which allows for 1 gigabit per second bandwidth. And we selected this technology because otherwise connection between Bukavu and Ichwi goes through the lake, which results in disturbance, refraction, as well as loss of data. In addition, we have a sectorial connected to a rocket, and this consists in a multi-directional aerial, point or multi-point, to link up the various points and our various partners and the kiosks we have in Ichwi, all thanks to our main aerial in Muganzo. In order to protect our equipment, we use lightning protection systems. One of the main challenges we face currently is access to Muganzo. There are no proper roads here, and the mountainous topography means that it's really hard to reach higher points such as Muganzo, even by motorbike, and the only access is on foot. On the island, we also face a major energy challenge, and this led us to resort to solar energy. Here in Muganzo, we use a 12-volt system, which feeds directly into the aerials, and with a POW, and in the box here, we have 12-volt batteries in order to provide power 24/7 without any interruption.
Ici, nous sommes à Bunyakiri.
We are at Bunyakiri here at one of our kiosks, and this is where PamojaNET connects with the community. The technology here differs from that used at Muganzo in the sense that we have aerials, one that allows point-to-point between Muganzo and Bunyakiri, and another used for Wi-Fi sharing within the community. So it is a LibreRoute free type router obtained through APC, which is high performance, wide coverage, and we use it with a hybrid setup linking ubiquity and the free router. Nevertheless, it is still possible to use the free router as the sole access point and also as a Wi-Fi sharing point. Here, we use the same technology as that used at Buragula kiosk. But again, given the lack of energy sources, we resort to solar panels. But unlike at Muganzo, here we use constant current energy only in order to optimize and save energy. In other words, we use POW specific to convert 12 volts to 24 volts without going through 220 voltage. Here we are at the site of the community radio Buguma. We're able to effect sharing via their pylon. You can see that the structure is different from other backbones elsewhere. Those at Muganzo and elsewhere allow us to connect various PamojaNET points and partners. Here we have a sectorial on this aerial, which means that we can connect clients and a device for point-to-point with Muganzo. We are now testing a station based on LTE-GCEM. Thanks to this technology, we're aiming to improve mobile cover, and it may also allow us to improve digital services, for example, in connection with an issue of safety raised by HW women. So we've linked up with a group of women on the island and developed an alarm service called Salam. And this service enables a person in danger to contact a circle of friends or directly police or ambulance services using just a smartphone or a small mobile phone. Thank you very much, Alva, for these explanations. This is the technical model that PamojaNET uses in order to connect the unconnected. We continue our virtual visit, and you will be able to understand more about our business model and how it's based on volunteer work. You will find out more. We also have testimonies from local business representatives in HW North, and you'll be able to find out how these partnerships, the partnerships were set up.
En tout cas, avec PamojaNET, nous sommes très fiers de voir que certains business.
With PamojaNET, we are very proud to see that some businesses are already able to operate on HW Island. It's an area with a lot of potential for agriculture and tourism. The coffee trade, for instance, and the trade and technical services are successful today, and their financial contributions allow us to offset some of the challenging costs linked to running PamojaNET. I can conclude that the community has wide and free access from 4 p.m. every day, thanks to partnerships with local businesses. At the beginning, when we didn't have internet Wi-Fi, we faced huge difficulties through the use of MTM or RTL modems, which were not reliable. But with the new Wi-Fi systems, we're able to overcome the communication issues. Our clients in the US, in Europe, in in Asia wanted naturally to be able to see pictures of our products, but we could not send these. Now, thanks to the internet, we also have access to prices on the international market. And on the phone, he says, I'm at a member's field. I took a few pictures, which I'm sending you via WhatsApp. As you can see, I'm settled in HW. I don't want to have to go to Goma, because with PamojaNET internet, I can do everything I need to do, I want to do. I can reach everyone and stay put in HW. I'm able to take part in e-meetings. I can also reach friends abroad. I'm able to promote my hotel online. And while staying on the island, I have access to clients. People can book. Partners who are on the island come to the SCPNCK office just to get a password, but they're connected automatically. So they ask, where do you get the connection from? And we say, we don't. It's PamojaNET that provides it. So at that point, they become really interested, and we never cease to be able to explain to them all the positive changes facilitated by PamojaNET for the community. It's hard to imagine maybe that I am in HW, yet I'm on TripAdvisor, on Booking.com, and so I am able to market my hotel to the whole world while staying in HW. And it's only because of the COVID pandemic and the lockdowns that bookings from other countries and continents have declined a little, but I'm still getting bookings from TripAdvisor and Booking.com. And I am in touch with the tourist industry, even in the US, even in country. And without a doubt, internet accelerates and boosts business. Now we ask ourselves, how can we support PamojaNET to move even further in serving the community? And that's where our contributions come in, so that PamojaNET may extend its services to the whole island, which is not yet the case. We're asking PamojaNET to make internet available 24/7. You know, once you have access, it becomes unbearable not to have it all the time. So here you are, our business model, how we make sure that PamojaNET be sustainable, and how we offset the lack of resources. The last video now focuses on our governance model and our links with the local community to make sure that it owns the network, because that's the ultimate objective. In the video document, you will hear a number of people who play key roles within the community, and we'll talk about the links between PamojaNET and La Différence, but also with the village council, which has supported the establishment of the network.
La de l'Internet dans les territoires d'Idjwi.
Internet management in Idjwi is closely linked to the community organization. So there are management committees that are set up whenever we create internet kiosks in villages, and these respond to local population demand. In other words, local people identify a local issue and put forward potential solutions at root level. If they don't have the technical or financial capacity to solve the issue, then PamojaNET steps in. Rubenga Village Council is well organized. It's structured with fora established in each village or community where all local views and aims are aired, and internet access is often discussed because it's of prime interest to people. So problems are raised and the solutions are put forward also by the local population. And it is then that the village council or another organization may intervene, that their intervention may be sought if the problem is too big in relation to the local capacity. Our first concern is safety of the kiosk. We set up frequent meetings up to 2 or 3 times a week when we are seeking solutions. But we also use these to discuss anything and everything. When we installed the kiosk, one young woman offered to volunteer to manage the kiosk so that it would really meet local needs. But for us, safety is the primary objective, and making sure that local problems find local solutions. It may surprise you that women were first to benefit from and use the internet, but they were trained for it and they can handle it well. At my age too, I'm able to use a phone with internet, and it allows me to reach relatives outside the area. I want to underline the key role played by women, and one woman in particular in this development. She didn't have to be asked. She had taken part in the initial meeting and had become so enthusiastic about the development that she offered to volunteer to manage the kiosk. She didn't want for this facility gifted to the community to risk being lost. And that is the kiosk, of course, and all its equipment. When meetings are set up, women are invited too. I always take part. And when it comes to making decisions, women's views, our views are taken on board. Our opinions are fully considered. And here in Idjwi, we already have a woman in charge of liaison and recovery services. It's a sustainable system in the sense that if a safety issue is identified, for example, we ourselves look for potential solutions. Sometimes someone will stay in the kiosk overnight in order to keep the equipment safe. During the day, we may organize rotas in case someone has damaged the equipment. So again, we look for solutions at our level, local level.
So this is the introduction to PamojaNET. Thank you very much for paying attention to this presentation. We are now ready to answer any question you may have regarding the work PamojaNET does. Thank you very much, Chako, for this wonderful presentation and these beautiful ivory landscapes. Now let's turn to questions. We have a number of questions in the chat. Let me start with a comment rather than a question, addressing Alva and asking if Pamoja comes from the Swahili word for ensemble, together. It is indeed where the name comes from. Pamoja means together. There's a question regarding the finances and source of financing for these community works. Thank you for this question. We focused on community collaboration, and we created a partnership and the community council led by the king, who wanted to have these community networks. And with this collaboration, we identify who can be supported. Our business model really is based on contributions by local businesses. So once they've got the connection, they have to contribute so that they support PamojaNET. As far as other partners are concerned, we've got Internet Society, which supports our work, and we are truly grateful to ISOC. We have partners as well with Association for Progressive Communication, APC, which supports us as well. And for the past 3 or 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, we've started to take part in different activities led by ISOC and APC. And within these activities, workshops, training sessions, we have been able to reach out to other partners who are interested in supporting us, either by providing equipment or information about grants we can apply for. So there isn't just one single strategic pathway to follow, but this is the path PamojaNET has followed in terms of funding. Thank you very much, Chako. When you launched the project, did you have any grant, or was it personal local funding from the communities which made it possible to set up the network? Thank you, Jean-Louis. Well, following this collaboration, we set up a sort of mini contract whereby the council agreed to provide its support. And with the support of the local king, it was possible for us to involve local organizations which agreed to support this initiative. Our directors also chipped in through the work of philanthropists who were keen to support communities in Congo. So there was a little bit of funds available at the start, but then we used the model with business contribution. The local council, the community council, helped us find more partners. Thank you very much for this information, Chako. Next question. Is it possible to share the pictures of the internet kiosks that we saw on the video? Yes, I think it's possible. Ava, can you confirm this to your friend? Yes, of course. We can share photos. If you could share your email address by chat, or in the chat, we can then send the photos. Okay, thank you very much, Alva. Let's move on to the next question. What's the contribution in terms of by the by the community in terms of internet use? You said that the community can use the connection for free, but is there any form of contribution by the community? I'll let Alva answer this question. Indeed, there is a certain aspect of contribution. So from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., internet connection is completely free. At key times during the day, there needs to be a member of the community who might have something urgent to do. So we can share the password with them against small payment. But most of the community contribution is through businesses. Local businesses enable us to ensure the sustainability of this community network. Thank you very much, Alva. Further question? It's focused on volunteers involved in the project. Do you have a plan to ensure that new volunteers join the model so that maybe there would be solutions in case Alva or Chako were to move somewhere else? Is there a sustainable plan to ensure that there would be further volunteers to take a lead? Thank you very much for this question. Nico, Alva? Yes, indeed. The team is split in two. We've got a local team in Idri. This team is regularly trained to deal with maintenance and IT support, and we are developing a workforce in Idri which could ensure the sustainability of a connection and make sure that the community has the skills. I could maybe chip in as well and add, we've had a conversation and we have received some funding in order to create kiosks to widen the community network. And as part of this, we have built in training of ICT experts. So we really want to make sure that the community owns this network. You live on the island, we will give you the skills to maintain it, to maintain the network and to be there, because we don't necessarily live on the island. But you've had the training, so you can take over. So this is a system that we have developed to ensure the sustainability, the technical and staff sustainability of our model. Thank you very much, Chako. Thank you, Alva. I would like to also remind everyone that it is possible to use interpreting into English or into French, depending on the language that is used. So you've got a little icon representing the planet. Don't hesitate to click on it to select the language you need to understand. We will carry on with a few more questions. We've got a few more minutes. So the next question from Michael Rosario. He would like to know if PamojaNET is a not-for-profit organization. Indeed, PamojaNET is a not-for-profit organization, but it is a community network, not an association. Since we're not generating an income, it's because we're community-based. We want to help children to access internet, to tackle this gap. It's a part of South Kivu province, which is quite isolated. And that's why we targeted this community. So there's no income. Everything that is invested, everything that is put available to support the development of PamojaNET is not at any cost for the community. So the point is not to make money. What we want to see is organizations such as ISOC or APC to carry on supporting these initiatives, because we can't uphold them for the long term without their help. If I may add, I would like to add that there's a business incubator, a social business incubator, meaning that PamojaNET has been developed with a particular business model to ensure sustainability, but it's not a business model designed to generate income. Thank you very much for this clarification, Alva. It is, of course, important that the network can be self-funded. Slightly technical question. You mentioned the Libre router. Was it easy to connect the Libre router to the Ubiquity technology? In practical terms. And did you do any trial before pairing the two technologies? Well, it wasn't that easy, yes. First of all, because the Libre router is designed to be used in a simple, independent way. So most of the functionalities are hidden, and the software has limited functionalities. So I had to do some research on how to access the software so that I could do the tweaking and modifications. As it's a Libre router, I can access a range of parameters, even if it's a bit complex. It meant that, first of all, I could disable some functionalities, such as the long-range network, which we didn't need because Ubiquity was covering this aspect. I was also able to add safety, because Libre routers are designed to be 3, but it means then that you can't necessarily add passwords in the basic configuration of this router. So I had to dig a bit to be able to build in this functionality and to have a system with passwords and specific frequencies that would be used. Thank you very much, Alva. Another question. You mentioned the Salam application focused on safety and the possibility of text messages when in a dangerous situation. But this app is also using the GSM app. Yes, this Salam application is using the GSM network. So it's more for voice transfer, not necessarily text. So it's a voice. So when you are in danger, there's just a number that you need to call. What you're saying is distributed to a contact list identified with friends or relatives, and it can also be sent, for instance, straight to police or to an ambulance, so that the audio recording will be analyzed immediately to target the right group. And is it on the GSM network or Wi-Fi? It's on the GSM network. And did you set up a GSM network? No, this is working with a mesh network. So the radio transmission part is directly connected to our GSM network. Sorry, to our network, to our mesh network. We have time for a few more questions. Joseph Okumu is asking about the size of your network. Could you mention the number of kiosks, for instance, or a number of access points and users. If you look at our existing mesh network and the backbone, we have about 15 access points. We have kiosks, which enable us to connect with the community. In terms of number of users, we have about 5,000 users on our network. Okay, 5,000. That's already quite a significant number for an island. Indeed, because there are visitors who come and use the network in the hotels, which are partners. So it could be tourists, it could be visitors, and there's this public Wi-Fi which is available. But before it was difficult to find people who could be connected. But now population is more aware of the technology and they are connecting more. Regarding capacity now, are there any concerns? Are costs likely to increase or the need for bandwidth? And this free model, are you concerned that you might not be able to maintain it with the increase in the number of users? Yes, this concern is here. However, we are going to update our network. Our main point in Muganzo was using M5 rockets, but as demand has increased, we had to change and switch to air fiber, which enables us to have a better bandwidth for imagery. With Libre routers, we can move forward. It's robust technology with which we can add components in order to answer the demand that is growing. A question from Gosia Mishunu. He would like to know how you compensate your volunteers. Well, they're volunteers, full-time volunteers for PamojaNET. It's the local team. So there is a small financial compensation available for these volunteers. And then there's community involvement. So they're not volunteers, full-time volunteers who will support us on an ad hoc basis when we've got construction tasks, setting a new backbone, building a tower, so they will volunteer punctually. And we have, for instance, given the means of transport so that they can get to the point where they're helping. And we work with the community leaders to find local volunteers because they understand the benefits for all of this network. Thank you. Another question?
Cette question, et il souhaiterait savoir quel est clairement le rôle du Conseil de la communauté et du gouvernement.
What exactly is the role of community, council, and government in PamojaNET?
Okay, merci.
Thank you. The role of the community council is that there's an individual attached to. So tell us a bit more about the structure to understand the overlap between Chefferie and community council. Well, the provincial government is providing us with support for this community network. It's a support which is not financial, but which for instance, allows the building of kiosks, organization activities, awareness raising on importance of community networks, and that's through the partnership with a local council. This local council also has an administrative role locally. It's much easier to work in this fashion than if we were a separate organization joining in. We have, in a sense, the blessing of the local council because we're working in partnership with them. Thank you very much, Chako. Maybe last point of information. Could you share your contact in the chat for further communication and exchange? So we have already run out of time for this part of the session. I would now like to invite you to take part in a poll regarding the assessment of this visit, the presentation of this network. So you can see on the screen, how would you rate the community network site visit experience? And you've got 2 minutes to answer, and the options are very good, good, average, poor, and very poor. So thank you very much for your contribution to this survey. The results are in. 63% found that it was a very good session, 31% think that it was a good session, and 6% that it was average. So nobody considered this to be poor or very poor. So we are very grateful for your feedback. And once again, thank you for your involvement and your contributions to this session. We would like to thank in particular BOSCO and PamojaNET, who worked extremely hard to produce such good quality videos. We would also like to thank our sponsors, the African Union Commission, GIZ, APC and Internet Society. Thank you very much to the technical team who did a fantastic job.
Merci Jean-Louis. Merci pour votre facilitation.
Thank you very much. It was an excellent chairing of this session.
Bringing us to the end of this next session, of this session today, is we would like to just have a quick conversation with all of you. with respect to what happens next. This is the last event in the series of the 5 events which we've organized to sort of reimagine the Community Network Summit that we normally organize as an in-person event, the culmination of which is normally site visit to the host community network. And in this case, since we were doing everything virtually, that is why we made the plans to have it virtual. And so we hope that you enjoyed the opportunity to get to visit too. And you also got to learn something throughout the series that we organized beginning last year, September. So first and foremost, what we would like to do is just have an opportunity to engage with you and sort of get to know how you would like us to engage with you throughout the rest of this year, because it seems like the situation has not improved, and so things are more likely going to remain the same. And the first thing that we'd like to say and announce to all of you is that there will not be an in-person event this year, similar to last year, as you fully understand that you know, the situation, even though we do have some promising results with the vaccine and progress on that front, it won't be until maybe very late this year or early next year when people can start meeting the same way we used to in the past. So that being said, we would like to identify ways that we can keep you engaged. This year we've had a couple of, and last year we've tried a couple of events, or rather we've done the virtual events and using different formats. And the formats we've used, for instance, are the webinar sessions and panel discussions, where we had experts from various places coming in and discussing various topics that we covered. One of the most popular ones was alternative funding opportunities, or public funding opportunities for community networks. That was very well received based on the feedback we got. We also tried interactive virtual workshops, which were basically slightly different from the way we organized the webinar. This enabled us to have breakout rooms, and people went into various breakout room sessions and had discussions. We also tried a virtual social, which was tagged at the end of one of the last events, and people got an opportunity to use a different platform called GatherTown, and and you know, there was some room for you know, social engagement and discussions and networking with the participants of the event. And then today's format, which was very much a webinar, but more taking a different approach to that, as we call it, a virtual site visit. And so all these were efforts of us to keep you engaged and to sort of see how best we could you know, keep the momentum going in terms of raising more interest and awareness about community networks. And so we would really like to learn from you in terms of what worked well. How would you like us to engage you this year? And looking from the results of the poll, if we've probably managed to run it through by now, it looks that there is keen interest to have monthly events and or bi-monthly and quarterly events. So with the monthly events sort of being the most highly rated ones. So we will take this back to the team and the organizers, our partners, APC, and we are going to discuss. So for that reason, we will not have any events in March. We would like to go back to the program committee with the feedback that you've provided, and please provide us any other feedback that you may have. And we will review that during the month of March. And based on that analysis, and if we're able to organize, we'll come back to you in early April with an announcement of how we will plan out the events for the remainder of, for the rest of the year. So that is basically the plan that we have at the moment on going forward. And so if you do have really any feedback that you can provide, please feel free to share it with us, and we'll take it into consideration. So with that, I want to take this opportunity to thank our moderator today, Jean-Louis. Again, he's done an excellent job moderating in both languages, which was really good and brings that inclusivity aspect, because we like to see more community networks emerging in the Francophone part of this continent. And also the participants, BOSCO, Uganda, and the team led by Jennifer. It's really amazing to see what you're doing. And also Chako with her team at Pamoja and DRC. And also just to recognize the support we've had from both organizations, APC and ISOC. And not to forget that we've also been supported by a great team of service providers, the AV department from the UK with the translation, the interpreters, and also Jolie with the live streaming support over the last 5 series. It's been excellent teamwork all around with various people supporting this event. And to our remote participants who follow this through various live stream channels, I would like to say thank you for following and dedication throughout this event. And we look forward to engaging with you once we've reached a decision on how to engage you again after April. And over the next month, please feel free to reach out to us in case you have any other comments or suggestions on how we can be engaged. With that, I'd like to end here and thank you everyone, and do enjoy the rest of your stay. And stay safe, and we'll have the videos and recordings put on the website for those of you who've been asking about the video recording. So this event will be recorded and the recording will be on the website. So thank you very much. Stay safe and see you soon.